Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another potty ep. I can't believe we are at episode 200. That is just absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane. If you're an OG, you've been here for a hot minute. I love you so much. And if you are a newbie, then welcome to the gang. Welcome to the podcast. I'm going to use this episode to tell you who I am, bring you up to speed on my life, go through some potty stats, and just like catch up because I feel like I haven't done a like, hey, what's up? Let's chat kind of episode in a hot minute. So the potty started back in April 29th of April 2022, which is crazy. It is now, as I'm recording this, the 4th of Feb 2025. What a wild couple of years. And the reason why I started the podcast was because I just have so much up here that I need to share. Like so much juice and wisdom to share with you guys. And at the time, I was just jumping into coaching. So I grew a wedding flower business and it popped off like crazy. I leveraged Instagram. I went viral. I popped off like crazy. I filled out my bookings within 6 months, like absolutely wild. So then I had all of these people in my DMs, all of these florists being like, how did you do it? How did you explode? And so I was like, let's move over to this Instagram so that we can split the two. And that's how I became a coach. At the time, I didn't know the coaching industry existed. Like, hear me when I say that. I really didn't know that this industry existed, especially not to the extent that I do now, being a good couple of years in. But it was just really, really cool to have a whole bunch of people be like, how are you doing this? Like, please, like, jump on a call with me. And so that's how we kicked off coaching. And that was at the end of 2021. I'm pretty sure from memory, that's when the coaching started. And then it was April 2022. And I was like, why not start a podcast? Like, let's just do it. Like, I had no plan. I had no like structure or format to anything. I was like, I just have so much juice that I want to share that I feel like I can get out so much easier in a podcast format as opposed to like separate individual posts or separate conversations to people. So I kicked off the podcast, and if you're an OG, you might remember this is episode 1 and it's called Breaking the Fear of Speaking on Instagram Stories. Like, this is the start of it.
Hello, flower friends. It is Friday morning, 8 a.m. I just came from a beautiful sunshine walk with my sunshine girl, Ellie. She's my little cattle dog. For anyone who isn't following along, I show her almost daily, your daily dose of a big ball of sunshine. She's the light of my life.
Isn't that just so fun? So that was the first ever episode, and it's done the best out of any episodes in 200 episodes. So I assume people go back and listen to that first one, or it just kicked off like crazy at the time. And then I just went for it. I just absolutely went for it. And at the start, it was very much for florists specifically, back at the start of my coaching career. And now we've shifted a little bit to online service providers, but there is still so much juice for my OG florists that are still here, and equally bringing in the newer conversations for those online service providers, coaches, mentors, all of the things, which is really, really cool. I feel like like I said, I had no structural plan or format going in. And if I'm being really honest with you, I still don't have much of a structure, format, plan, which look, could be to my detriment, but we're at 80. Actually, let me find the number. We are at 83,542 plays. That's wild. That's absolutely insane. 200 episodes and counting. I just move with what feels good. Like I want to have a chat today, we're having a chat. It might not do well considering I'm not giving you this crazy, like how to blow up your brand value, but I'm like, I just want to chat with my people, so I'm going to. At one point I wanted to insert ads, and so I did. Like I recorded my own little ads and inserted them into the podcast. I had intros, I had music at one point. Like I changed the name, I think like three times maybe. And I just move with what feels good. And I think that's such a cool way to do business. And honestly, that's how I've built my two multi six figure brands. It's, yes, a lot of the strategy and the mindset, which I teach, but the underlying piece that ties it all together is me just going for it. Like me fully just saying, yep, and just doing it. I think it was at the start a lot of, yes, delusion and a lot of like, I was just oblivious, I think, in honestly the best way. Like I didn't know that other people existed. Like I was just so in my zone when I started the podcast, when I started both businesses, and like those were some of my most successful moments, was like when I just fully went for it. So I started my wedding flower business in the end of 2019, start of 2020. And guess what happened in 2020? Lockdown, a lot of lockdowns here in Australia. And at the time, I had like other jobs. I was working full time. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to grow this wedding business. Weddings are all being cancelled. I think I was just literally oblivious to it all. Like it didn't weigh on me. Like, in fact, I kind of went, oh, thank God I'm at the start, because imagine if I had all these bookings and I had to reschedule them. I actually felt really grateful. And I was in this energy of like, okay, well, weddings are going to open up. There's going to be a crazy influx of them because they've been paused for so long. I'm going to be the one who's going to book them all. Like, let's just go. And so I spent so much of my time in lockdown in 2020, 2019, 2021, however long it lasted, really just putting out content. Like that's what I did mainly. It was my number one focus every single day. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't have funnels or profit planning or like education. Like I didn't go to either business school or flower school. I was just like, I'm good at this thing. I want to help people, and like here's how we're going to do it. And like I said, a lot of that delusion, like it pushed me to where I am now. And so I know that right now you really want a plan and you really want structure and you really want like the perfect, like, here's how to do it. And I can tell you a lot of the strategy, which I've now learned, and we're doing things so much better now. However, the delusion of it all, the fun, the imagination, the frequency, the energy of like, let's just freaking go, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. And lately, I've been craving that so much again. It's almost like the more you know, sometimes it trips you up a bit, right? Because you know how to structure sales copy, and you know what a good piece of content looks like, and you know what whatever looks like. And so sometimes you've got to insert the fun and the let's go and I'm going to do this because it feels good kind of energy back into your business, because that's the thing that made things kick off. I was posting content. A lot of it was trending reels, right? A little bit different to what I would do now. At the time, it was like anything that's trending, any trending audio, any trending dance, any funny thing, I'm just going to do it. And so I did, and some of them are so cringe. Like I want to crawl in whole when I look at them, but I'm like, so proud of that version of me who at the time was working full time in other jobs and was just like, why not? Like, let's just have fun. Let's just go. Like, stop being in your head about it. And so I posted all these videos. One of them went viral, and because it sparked a lot of comments in the comment section. And then I started getting more eyeballs on me. Like the reels were popping off more and more. There was more visibility on me. And I don't care what anyone says. Yes, you don't need a billion followers, but you need some eyeballs, right? You need some eyeballs on you. Otherwise, they don't know you exist. And so I had more eyeballs, and the bookings started to increase. And all of a sudden, within 6 months, I was booked out for 2022. So this must have been like mid 2021, rest of 2021. And then we moved into 2022. And I was like, okay, well, now I'm full time. I'm pretty sure it was 21 to 22. It could have been 20 to 21. That's a little bit fuzzy on the timeline. And so 2022, I was fully booked as a wedding florist with zero education in terms of like business school or going to uni or flower school. I was just posting some really fucking cringe content. Literally, that's what I was doing. And then I had so many bookings. It was absolutely crazy. That must have been 2021, 2022 and 2023. I like shifted things a little bit. I wanted more dream clients because I'd filled my books, which was cool, but I wanted like soul, like high level clients. And so I shifted messaging content. I made it a little bit more of a high end brand. And then I leased a warehouse. I bought my first home with the love of my life, Tom, and like everything kicked off. I bought a van, which was one of my dreams to buy a company car. I hired a team, like flower wise. I was like top dog of the industry, top dog in my area. Like it was just kicking off like crazy. 2021, because things had popped off so much, I started getting the influx of florists being like, how have you done this? Like, you've grown like crazy. How are you doing this? And so I moved them to a separate Instagram, and that's how I became a coach. I fell into the industry, didn't know it existed. At the time, I was in a mastermind and I didn't know that the coaching industry existed. Like, is that like blonde and dumb? Maybe, but it was the best thing ever. Like the best thing ever for me because I didn't go into it being like, oh, what's everyone else doing? Who's at the top? Like who's top dog? It was just, I just fell in and I went for it. I went for it and it kicked off like freaking wildfire. Like, let me tell you, one-to-ones were feeling like crazy, masterminds feeling like crazy, launched my program, kicked off like wildfire, and everything I dropped, people bought. And I feel like it was majority because I already had a hot audience from building it from the other page. And so I always remind myself this and my clients, if you have a hot audience, you can do anything. You can make any sales, you can scale to wherever you want, you can like have brand deals, like you can do anything if you have a hot audience. So content for me is one of the highest priorities because it worked for my first business, it worked for my second business, and now we're on to the second iteration of coaching, kind of the third business, kind of from pivoting last year. So flowers were crazy, coaching was crazy, and all of a sudden I'm doing huge cash months and just effortlessly. Like 10K days, I did a 100K month once. I didn't even know because I wasn't even looking. Like, this is the thing, I wasn't even looking. Like, the cash month thing wasn't a thing when like back then. It was just like, let's just grow, like, let's just go. And it was craziness. I remember Tom and I went on this trip. I randomly booked this random trip in the middle of June, I want to say, or the end of June, like 5 hours away from where we live. And it was the coolest trip because all of these notifications came through from people joining my world. I remember I launched an ebook, which was one of the first pro offers that I ever launched, and I had hundreds of people join that. And I launched a sale like the day I left because I felt like it. And I had all these notifications coming through of like another one, another one, and then I'd have someone reach out about a call. I had called it a clarity call, which was an offer where it was a program, this mini course thing, and I had people join that, and then I dropped a bundle one-to-one offer, and it was like whatever, 3K, 5K, boom, like snapped up like that. And then I launched another mastermind, and it was like boom, like things were just wild. And I remember we were on this trip, and like we were picking oranges from the side of the road. Sounds like a scene from a movie. And all these sales were just flooding through. And I just had the most beautiful week with Tom where we were like watching the sunrise, and then we were in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and then we found this tiny bakery in this tiny little town, and then we drove through snow and like went skiing, and it was just the coolest thing. Like the coolest thing to be like, wow, I'm literally like fuck around and find out kind of vibes. Like, yes, I knew how to do the business side of things by now, but I was still like, let's go. Like, don't overthink it. I want to launch this thing, launched. I want to post this thing, post. I want to like record this episode, recorded. Like, that was the vibe. And it's still my vibe to this day. But lately, I'm like, bring that back, girl. Like, bring that back, girl, even more because it's the thing. It's the thing that kicked everything off. So 2022, 2023 was pretty crazy. Like that was it. Both of them were just like peaking like crazy. Then mid 2023, I started feeling like I was at this fork where I was like, okay, I love both businesses, but I feel capped. I feel at this massive glass ceiling and something needs to shift. Something needs to change. I'm actually not happy. Like, I'm not deeply fulfilled, I should say. And so all of that craziness was like 2022 and then like start of 2023. And then by the time we got to like mid to the end of 2023, I had a call with my mentor and she said to me, if you in a year's time were still doing flowers and weren't coaching, how would you feel? And I said, I feel restricted. I feel like a cat in like getting dipped in water. I feel like that's what I feel like. She goes, okay. And she said, in a year's time, you're not doing flowers and you're coaching full time. How does that feel? And in that moment, I bawled my eyes out because I just knew something needed to shift. And the shift was that flowers weren't going to be a long-term thing. And after both businesses peaking and I'd built this empire, it was the wildest thing for me to think, okay, what if this isn't my identity anymore? Like, what if this isn't the big vision, right? I had this huge vision on my heart since I was 2019, since 2019. I wasn't 2019. And I was like, I have this huge vision, and how do you have that big vision and then just wipe it out? And so it was this massive realization. And with weddings, of course, you've got these beautiful clients and responsibilities for years in advance. And so I've had people booked in for a really, really long time. And it's been until 2025. Here we are. And I still have beautiful clients that I'm looking after. And so it's been a wild journey that in 2023, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be a long-term chapter. This is just going to be this next little bit. And long-term vibes is coaching full time. And, I don't want to do a disservice to my clients or to my team or anything like that, but I need to put my fulfillment first. Like, what do I feel really deeply is going to light me up? And how am I going to help people and serve people anymore? Well, it's coaching, it's mentorship, it's like, I feel like in so many areas of my life, I haven't felt like I belong. Like, I used to dance, and dancing was something that, yes, I clicked into, but there were still so many moments where I didn't. Like, there were girls that had danced since they were babies, like, and since they could walk. And I only joined when I was in like year 5 or 6. And they had like the dance mums and went to the private schools and did ballet, and like I didn't feel, I loved it, and I was in it, and it was my whole world for a long time. But then I was kind of like, oh, there's something about it, it's just not clicking in. And then the same with floristry. I didn't see myself as part of the industry the way a lot of other florists did. I saw myself as external of it to a point. And it just never quite locked in. Like, you know that feeling where it's like, oh, I'm where I'm supposed to be. I didn't have that. And I knew it, and I knew it the whole time. And then when I was coaching and when I'm in mentorship and I'm helping people and I'm having conversations and I'm learning about the ego and the brain and human potential and business and content and sales, like it's my jam. Like it's my vibe, it's my thing. And whether this lasts until I die or it's, the next chapter, like who knows, but for now it feels really, really good in my soul. So it's been a wild, wild ride, but we are almost on the other side where we step into coaching full time, which is a really, really exciting thing. And I closed down the warehouse because we moved the studio to my garage and we sold the van and we said kind of goodbye to the team, although there's still weddings happening, so it's this funny like balancing act. But the mindset hit, the ego hit, the identity hit, the income hit that has come from this whole thing has been huge, like huge. And on top of all of this, at the start of 2024, I decided to restart coaching as well. Like, make it make sense. But end of 2023, I started downsizing the flower business. Start of 2024, I was now in the realm of coaching a lot more than I was flowers. And so I was like, okay, I have a lot of wisdom to give that's not going anywhere because my current clients are all florists, which is perfect for that, that realm. But now I'm moving somewhere different. And so I deleted my Instagram, which had 15,000 people, that wildly hot audience that would buy anything I drop. I deleted my whole multi-six-figure offer suite, which is crazy, like absolutely crazy. Like so many offers that made a lot of money and had a lot of people in them, and like shifted the podcast and restarted literally from scratch at the same time that I stopped taking bookings from weddings. So the income dipped like crazy. And so the income's dipped. I've downsized, which could be seen as going back 100 steps from the vision that I had. I don't have this status anymore as top dog in the flower industry because I've stopped the bookings. I have let a lot of people down. There's so much that came within that. And through it, I'm so grateful that I am the human that I am. Like, I'm so grateful that I have the emotional intelligence that I do and that I can hold myself in the way that I can. Because honestly, if I wasn't this human and I didn't hold this mindset, I would have crumbled hard and I probably would have given up last year. Like, real talk right now, me and you, I would have given up last year. Last year was the hardest year in my career, hands down. Like, hands down, dealing with a lot of gnarly shit behind the scenes. And I'm so freaking grateful for building this human. And same goes for my whole business journey. I'm so grateful that I've built this human because without the delusion and the courage and the grit and the self-awareness and the audacity and the ambition, like there's no way that I would have created the results that I have and gotten to here. Like, there's just no way. Like, this is why I teach this inside She is Limitless. Like, this is why I teach it, because it's the whole reason I got to this point. The whole reason. So if you ever feel like, oh, momentum feels a little bit slow, or like, I don't know, like something's just off, or I'm in a really challenging period. Like, come back into who you are and who you're being. And if you want to strengthen that, like, join She is Limitless. Become the human that can do the things that you want to do. Me and the version of me back in 2019 when I started my flower business, or 2021 when I started coaching, I'm a completely different human in the best way, like upgraded 100x. Like what I can hold now versus what I could hold then, the way I see myself now versus then, the clients that I work with now versus then, like everything has shifted. And yes, I'm the strategy queen. Like I'll teach you content and sales and brand and all of the things, but it's the human. Like the human is the thing. It's the catalyst for the growth that you're craving. So don't overlook it as like, oh, just like say some cute affirmations or just like, visualize what you want. There's so many traits that need to be strengthened for you to be able to grow to the heights that you want to grow to. Because although there's been these crazy celebrations, it's been a lot of lows and there's been a lot of uncertainty and wobbles and what the fuck am I doing and self-doubt and can I do this? And you get that at every single level. Like that doesn't stop, that doesn't go away. You get it at every single level. Every single level, you feel the feelings of like, whoa, I'm in this new realm. Like, how do I do this? How do I navigate this? But I think it's a really exciting thing as well to be an entrepreneur and have the honor of doing this work, because if I was just a regular schmegular human out in the world, I probably wouldn't be this human that I am. And if I didn't have the challenges that I had, again, probably wouldn't be this human. So, it's all in the human. And here we are scaling to 100K months inside the Lily Homes, inside the Intuitive Savage, inside Growth Gang podcast. And I'm so excited to bring you along the journey. It is only going to be a stepping stone onto where we're going to go after that. And like, buckle up, because we're here to party. I also want to tell you, what's wild that blows my mind in terms of the audience, going back to the whole hello 200 episode thing, 44.7 of you are from the US. That's crazy. You must listen to my accent and think, how ridiculous. 29.3% are Aussies, 9.2% UK, 4.9% Canada, 2.4% South Africa, and then there's 0 point something percentages for a lot of other countries. Holy moly, that's a lot of countries. Okay, that's really, really cool. 55% of you listen on Apple, 40% on Spotify. That also blew my mind. I'm a Spotify gal. And that's it. That's all I have for you. So that's 200 episodes done. Tick. We've hit a huge goal together. Make sure you are in the broadcast, the free broadcast. I'll leave all of these links in the show notes below, or you can join She is Limitless, which is my 8-week human growth, human potential mindset program, which is learning the 7 key traits that I needed to strengthen to scale my 2 multi-6-figure brands. Or you can join the Intuitive Savage Mastermind, which is 6 months of mentorship inside the group program with yours truly, or you can join one-to-one as well. So I've got one-to-one intensives, 3 months or 6 months. So those are all of the options. I'm throwing them all at you in this podcast. I'll leave links in the show notes below, but otherwise just DM me on Instagram at _the Lily Homes. I love you so much. Here's to 200 more episodes.